Yes, shalom to the 12th tribe of Israel, all the brothers in the truth that labors in the truth and working to bring forth the kingdom of the Most High in the name of Yahweh Shai. All praises. Okay, I'm going to go to Revelation chapter 6. We're going to break down Revelation chapter 6, go over that a little bit. All right, so Revelation chapter 6 and 1, it says, "And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seal, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, and of the four beasts, saying, Come and see. And I saw and beheld a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer." Right, so the first horse, each horse represents a kingdom, right? Represents rulership and a great kingdom, right? That's what the horse represents. Okay, and it says, "And he that sat on him had a bow." So the bow is a symbol of peace. It's an instrument of peace. Okay? Then the bow keeps, when I say peace, it's not like you don't use it for war, it's that it maintains peace. It keeps the peace. That's a symbol for peace. "And a crown was given unto him." Who was that crown given unto? It says him. It means a ruler, a king. And that king was Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was his king. This is like the vision that Daniel saw. It's just that John saw a different version of that same vision. Because the head of gold, like in Daniel chapter 2, it says, "O thou king." Matter of fact, let me get it real quick. Daniel chapter 2. Okay. Daniel chapter 2. Okay. Daniel chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 31. Because Nebuchadnezzar gives you a backstory here. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and the Most High was showing Nebuchadnezzar through the dream all the kingdoms of the great mighty kingdoms of the earth. All the great mighty kingdoms that would come after him, and even show him his kingdom, how it was great. So when he had his dream, he called all his sorcerers, his soothsayers, his astrologers, the Chaldeans, all the wise men of Babylon, the so-called wise men, to translate or to interpret the dream, but they could not, because they were going on the left side, which is, they were going to Satan to figure out what the vision should mean. But Satan don't understand these things. It has to come from the Most High. Okay? It has to come from the Most High. Only the Most High reveal dark secrets and sayings. Okay? So Daniel was connected to the Most High because of his righteousness. And the Most High revealed a dream unto him. Okay? So he said in Daniel chapter 2 verse 31, in fact, let me read this let me read 19, the 19th verse, chapter 2, Daniel chapter 2, verse 19. It says, "Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision." Who revealed the secret? The Most High. The Most High revealed the secret to Daniel. "Then Daniel blessed the Most High, Yahweh of heaven. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of the Most High, and forever and ever. For wisdom and might are his." See? So wisdom and might belongs to the Most High. All wisdom belongs to the Most High. Whatever wisdom there be. "And he changed the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealed the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. See? So Daniel was given great praises to the Most High for revealing the secret of the dream to him. So Daniel was given all wisdom and all knowledge, giving praises to the Most High for all wisdom and knowledge that was given in the earth. All of it comes from the Most High, he's saying. All right? I thank thee, verse 23, I thank thee and praise thee, O thou Yahweh, of my fathers, who hath given me wisdom and might, and has made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Okay, so drop down to verse 31. He says, Thou, O king, sawest and beheld a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. Okay? So it was a great and terrible image, fearful. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and arms of silver, and his belly and his thighs of brass. So the head, meaning the head of the image, meaning the greatest part of the image, was of fine gold. So, okay, and then Daniel goes on to show that Nebuchadnezzar, that he was that head of gold, meaning he was the kingdom of kingdoms. He was the greatest of all those kingdoms that was in the vision that Daniel saw, and Nebuchadnezzar, that was in Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Okay, was in Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So Nebuchadnezzar was the head. That's why in Daniel it says he was called the King of Kings. The King of Kings, because he was the greatest king of all these other kingdoms that were coming down. And then Daniel went on to say that the other kingdom that would come after him would be inferior to him. So he would be the greatest kingdom. See? Right. Verse 38. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowl of the heaven had he given into thine hand, and had made thee ruler over them all. Thou art the head of gold. See? He's the head of gold. Right? And verse 39. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee. Okay? Meaning it will be less in power, less in majesty, it wouldn't be as great as Nebuchadnezzar's. Nebuchadnezzar was the greatest kingdom. Okay? But now this modern day kingdom is saying, modern day Babylon is saying they're the greatest kingdom that ever was. That's not true. This is the least of all the great kingdom that came before. This kingdom is the least. They boast about technology and all the advances in science and technology. No. The greatest kingdom was Babylon. Hands down. That's the greatest kingdom, ruled the entire earth. You see? All these other kingdoms, they wasn't as great as Babylon. Babylon was peace. That's why he said in Revelation, he says a great bow. What he said in Revelation chapter 6, he said a crown was given unto him, right? And there's another part where he says, right, verse 2, and I saw and behold a white horse. See, white meaning what? Pure. They were more pure. It was peaceful. The kingdom was peaceful. When it says pure, they were more lawful, more righteous than these other kingdoms. Okay? They were more closer to dealing with the ways of the Most High. They were wicked as well, but Not as these other kingdoms. They were the purest of the bunch, I should say. Okay? So he had a white horse, meaning, that's a sign of rulership. He was of high majesty. Okay? And he that sat on him had a bow. So that bow represents peace. Now, like I said before, the bow can also be used for war, but the bow also maintains peace. It keeps the peace. Okay? Any uprisal or whatever, you shoot the bow and you will annihilate all rivalry. You see? Most of the times. So that back in that time, that was a symbol for peace. So he had the most peaceful kingdom, the best kingdom, the richest kingdom. This kingdom right now, Babylon think they're the richest kingdom. No, they're not. The modern day Babylon is not the richest kingdom. America is not the richest kingdom that ever was on the earth. They want everyone to believe that. So they push that narrative. But Babylon the Great, Nebuchadnezzar, the ancient Babylon, that was the greatest kingdom ever to rule the whole entire earth. Okay? Hands down. That's why the Most High told Nebuchadnezzar there will be another kingdom inferior to thee. You see? And it tells you the metal, the head of gold, meaning it was the top, and it was placed on the head of the image. And then the head of gold, meaning the gold is like the highest in value, is the highest in value of all the other metals, all the other minerals. See, the head of gold. He said, thou art the head of gold. Right? And another kingdom, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Okay? So they're doing about earthly rulership. Who is ruling the whole entire earth? So, and it's basically going into systems. The system of the Babylonian system was a peaceful system, even though they talk about Babylon being wicked and this and that. But Babylon was more pure than any other kingdom on the earth, and they were richer, and it was a lot more peace. There was no wars actually in Babylon. Even when the other kingdom, which was the Medes and the Persians, took over Babylon, the king just surrendered. There was no fighting, there was no bloodshed. Okay? So it was a very peaceful kingdom. All right, so let's go back to Revelation chapter 6 and 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse. Right? So this is another kingdom. After Babylon fall, there's another kingdom. So this is the red horse. Another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So this is the Medes. This is the kingdom of the Medes. They're given a great sword. All right? Verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. All right? This is another kingdom that took over from the Persians, from the Medes. But they didn't take over. They kind of rule at the same time and consecutively, one after the next. Okay? And matter of fact, they were operating under the same system, the same dominating system that ruled the earth. Okay, they had the same political system. Okay, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. and see, thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So now the oil and the wine is a nation. The oil and the wine actually represents Israel, represent us, the children of Israel. Okay? So the Most High told the Persians, hurt not the oil and wine. That's why King Cyrus, they're so good with us. Helped us to build the temple. They gave us all the stuff, the material, the finances, the sustenance, and he allowed us to go back and rebuild the temple. So that's why this is what the Most High was telling. This is what this is a command from the Most High that he gave to the Persians not to hurt Israel. Matter of fact, to help Israel. Okay, and I can prove that's easy to prove because even today, the Iranians, the so-called Iranians, they're the ancient Persians, and even today, they show mercy unto Israel. Like one of the videos that be circling, and this is actually documented history. In 1978 or 79, I think it's 1978, when they seized and took over a U.S. I think it's a military base. No, a U.S. embassy in the Middle East. They took over the U.S. Embassy. And they had hostages. They had, American hostages. They announced that they would release the women and the so-called black people. Women and so-called African Americans or so-called black people, which is Israel. They remember that covenant the Most High had made with them, okay, to hurt not the corn and the wine, because their history go back at least 5,000 years. So they remember that. So they know who we are, okay. So that's why even till today, they will still show mercy unto our people and release them from any kind of hostage situation, So they released us, our people, from that, saying that we were already, they said that they would release the women because they honor women, because they bring forth the children and stuff, so they honor women. And they said that the so-called black people, or African Americans, so-called African Americans, which is Israel, that they suffer persecution in America. So they're not going to put any more burdens on us because of the sufferation that we had in the Western Hemisphere, under Esau. Okay? Under Esau. So that's why this is what is going into, hurt not the oil and the wine. Okay, so that was the Persian Empire. Verse 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. Okay, so the pale horse is modern day Babylon. Okay, all the Edomite nations, they're the pale horse. The Russians, the Germans, the Greeks, the Romans, all of these people, they are considered to be the pale horse. Okay? America, all these nations that's ruled by Esau, they're the pale nation, they're the pale rulership. That's why he said the pale horse. The pale horse don't mean white. I know people call them, say they claim themselves to be white, but they actually pale. Pale is a color. It's not even a color. It's a pigmentation. What happens to people when they die? In other words, it symbolizes death. That's what the pale represents. Okay? The pale represents death. That's why he says, and his name that sat on him was Death. His name is Death. Anywhere Esau go, this is what happens. Death happens to everybody. They destroy nations. They destroy your system. If they don't like your system, they destroy it. And they destroy a country. They displace people. They create hunger, famine, death, destruction all across the world, everywhere they go. That's why the scripture says, death follow with him. So anywhere he goes, death and hell follow with him. So he created death and hell follow after to the ones who remain, who they did not kill. Hell will inhabit them. Hell takes over after they pass through your land. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. When I say the fourth part of the earth, it means the last spot. It don't mean it's a corner, a geographical location. It means the whole earth. But the fourth part, because time is measured in 4 parts. Okay? It's measured in 4 parts. That's why I give you the images of the four great horsemen. Okay? They call it the horsemen. Okay? Some people call it the horsemen of the apocalypse, but this is not the apocalypse because it's been happening for a long time. It's throughout the period of the lifespan of the earth. So Nebuchadnezzar would be like the first part of that section of that dividing of time. Okay, he'd be the first part, and then the second part will be and then you come down to the fourth part, meaning the fourth rulership. Okay, it's a time period. It's not geographical location. It's a time period. So the fourth part, meaning this part we in right here, is the fourth part. We in the last days. That's what they mean by the fourth part of the earth. Okay. So verse 9, and when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High, and for the testimony which they held. Okay, so this is the saints, meaning the disciples. The disciples and all the people who kept the laws and commandments and believe in Yahushua, even until this day. There are people who've been dying, who they've been killing. Okay, from ancient time, meaning from all that was the time of the end. Even when Yahushua came, he was the sign. Matter of fact, Yahushua ushered in the coming of Yahushua, the birth of Yahushua was the ushering in of the last days. The end of the last days is not like 10 days or 5 days. It's been hundreds of years. That's considered to be the last days, according to the Most High, in the Most High dividing of time. So people might think the last days is just started when we in America. No, the last days has started since Yahushua. His birth was a sign. His birth was a symbol, okay, that this is the beginning of the last days. You know, maybe I might have to do a separate video on that. You know, but Yahushua was the symbol or the sign. That's why he said in one scripture, he says, there shall be no sign given unto you except, okay? Yahushua was a signal to show the last days is. That's why John the Baptist said, the days are at hand. Okay? He said, repent, for the time, for the day of the Lord is at hand. Okay? That's why he said that, because he knew when Yahushua comes, that will be the beginning of the last days. Okay? And we're in the end of the end right now. We're not in the beginning of the end, we're the end of the end. Okay? Verse 10. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long? See? They want to know how long this wicked kingdom is going to last. How long will we be suffering under these other nations? How long will we be suffering under Esau? You know? The righteous, the people who know the laws of the Most High knows that we're suffering. But our people in the world thinks they're living it up. But they're suffering in ignorance. They don't know they're suffering. So if you're not ruling, if the Most High made us to rule and we're not ruling, you're suffering. You're being ruled over. And the people who were not meant to rule are ruling over you. So this is hell. Okay? How long, O Lord, holy and true, doest thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? So he's saying, we do not avenge, we do not take vengeance and repay those who dwell on the earth that had us in captivity and who still have us in captivity. Okay? Avenge the blood, meaning who killed the disciples. Rome killed all the disciples, or most of them. They killed all of them, if not all. They killed most of them. I think it's only one of them died naturally, or which one? A couple of them that lived to be old. I think John was one of them, but most of them were killed. Okay, they were slaughtered. See? Verse 11, and white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. Okay? And I beheld when he opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as the fig tree casteth forth untimely figs, when she is shaken as a mighty wind, as of a mighty wind. When she is shaken as of a mighty wind, and the heaven departed as a scroll. See? As the heaven departed as a scroll, when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sat on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of the wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So that's when the Most High and Yahweh shall come back. So everybody that did us wrong, all the people, all the Edomites will be what? Hidden in the den. The great man, the rich man, all the rich men, okay? All of them, no matter how money they have, okay, the multi-billionaires, okay, they're going to be hiding. They're going to be running. Okay? The Elon Musks, okay? The Jeff Bezos and all of these men, okay? The Microsoft man, all of them. Billy, they all going to be hiding in the rocks, okay, in the caves, the dens, because they love caves and dens and rocks anyway. So they're going to be hiding in the caves and mountains and hiding from the wrath of the Most High and the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai, okay, because they're coming with fire. That's why he said the heavens will be rolled away and the mountain out of its place. Every island shall flee. That's when Yahweh Shai touch, when the Most High touch. When the Most High touch, everything moves. Everything moves. Okay? The whole earth is going to be shaken. Okay? So this is what they're going to be, everybody going to be fearful. So I'm going to end it right here. I'll make it kind of short and brief. Like, let's go through it real quickly, but I might have to do another video on this and kind of go into it a little more. So I'm going to end right here and say all praises to the Most High for his knowledge and understanding and wisdom. And Matter of fact, I didn't even go into Daniel. So I'm going to go into Daniel next time and show how they kind of link, how that the vision that Daniel saw and the vision that John saw, they related. It's the same vision. It's the same events, I should say. They saw a different vision of the same event. Okay, Daniel saw all the kingdom as a man with different minerals and different metals and stuff, precious different metals like the brass, the silver, and the gold and stuff like that. But in Revelation chapter 6, John saw it as kingdoms with horsemen, but it's the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to say shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel, all praises to the brothers and sisters who keep in the faith and walking in the ways of the Most High. All praises to the name of the Most High. Shalom.